Good morning. It's good to be back with all these guys this morning, sitting around and doing this podcast where the rubber meets the road. And what an honor it is to be back. I know we've been gone for a few weeks, and we apologize for that. But it's just been a busy time of the year, and I mean, we're getting back in here before Christmas and being able to sit back down around this table and share a thought that might help you, and we just be an encouragement. That's what we're hoping to be today. And so we're going to take a few minutes and go around and just tell everybody in the room and welcome yourself and how happy you are to be here and excited about being here and about the thought that we're going to talk about today. And so y'all go ahead and introduce yourself.
Good morning. This is Preacher Tony, and I'm excited to be here. Glad to be back again, and excited to see what transpires here in this little podcast we got.
Chris Tucker, I'm glad to be back. It feels like it's been forever since we've done this, but
About a month, ain't it?
it has. I hope we remember how. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Philip Bowers again, just like these other ones. Glad to be back around the table with the compadres here.
I have missed this.
See where it's gonna go.
Surely.
Oh, I have
thought
to.
about it on the
I love it.
way here, how I've missed it and missed opportunity, and life gets busy. And, when life gets busy I feel this is very important, what we do. God's laid it on our heart to do this, and I believe it's very important. Whether it just helps one every week, we do it, and it's worth it. Mm-hmm. And
But you said something right there. And before we ever get started, life gets busy. This is therapeutic fellowship for me.
it is me too.
If you neglect your therapeutic fellowship with your Christian brothers because life gets busy, sooner or later, look at your Bible. You neglect your Bible long enough, pretty soon it's out of sight, out of mind.
That's right.
Same thing. I know it's just a podcast and we just up here talking, but
We have a good time doing it.
we do.
We
And
have
I
a good
missed
time.
it.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have 3 podcasts before we ever record the podcast.
We've done had one today already, and but hey, we're getting to that time of year, and we just a few weeks away from as us Christians celebrating the birth of Christ, and a day that we've set aside to celebrate the birth of Christ, and just throw this out there. There's going to be somebody. You always got naysayers. You always got people with questions. And why y'all celebrate Christmas December the 25th or vice versa? We know that Jesus was probably born in the springtime. We know that, but it is a day that we set aside, December the 25th, and that we celebrate the birth of Christ. And sometimes we get so carried away up with Christmas that Christmas now has got it's got all about the presents that's been given, which was under the tree. It seems like commercialized, and we forgot what the true meaning of Christmas is all about. Just this past week or so, Alex and Hastings went back to Africa, and me and him was sitting there talking. They come and had Thanksgiving dinner with us, and we sat around and talked, and we was just talking about holidays that they celebrate. They don't celebrate Thanksgiving there. This is the thing we celebrate Thanksgiving, what took place in the United States. But they celebrate, they've got an Independence Day. Their Independence Day, I think, is July the 6th is their Independence Day. Their Mother's Day is actually in October, is when their Mother's Day is. But they celebrate Christmas December the 25th. But they have 2 days for Christmas. The first day, December the 25th, is the day they celebrate the birth of Christ. And December the 26th, they call it Christmas box, when the gift was given, when the gifts were rung in gift. And so, I think sometimes maybe us Americans need to realize that it's not about the gift, it's about the gift that God gave us, the true gift. And so today we're going to just talk about Christmas. We're going to talk about what we're fixing to come up to. We're still 2 weeks away from Christmas, and you never know, we might be back here next week on the same thought or whatever before Christmas. If we have opportunity to sit back down around this table again, we might talk about it again, But as we leading up to Christmas, my heart breaks. There's going to be a lot of people this year that was sitting at the table with us last year at Christmas dinners and fellowships that's not going to be there this year. They might have stepped on in glory, and every Christmas is different. And every year we need to take them times that we have with our family and not get so focused on the present there. We need to get our eyes focused on why we celebrate Christmas and celebrating that true meaning of Christmas with our family, and not neglect that time and realize that this might be the last Christmas that you have with that loved one. And sometimes we look at age, it ain't got nothing to do with age. This might be the last time you have Christmas with that loved one. And so make the best of every time that we have with the individual, make the best of it. And just like Brother Chris said just a minute ago, and not neglect it. Sometimes we neglect it and we take it for granted. So let's just start and go a little. Brother Tony, I'll start with you. Tell us a little bit about when you think about Christmas, and maybe tell some things that. What Christmas means to you, and what it means to you now, versus maybe last year. Maybe a year before. What does it mean now to you? Are you going to do Christmas different this year? I know you got a grandbaby this year, and you're probably going to spoil that grandbaby rotten. And
yes, sir, I am.
But what's more important? I had the question asked of me today. Someone was picking about my oldest boy having me some grand youngins, and I said, man, them youngins I can't wait to have grand youngins. I said, because when I have grand youngins, I was telling my youngest son, I said, when I have grand youngins, spending money on y'all, it's done.
That's right.
I said, it's done. Y'all done. So you want me to have a grand youngin quick? I said, it's done.
Yeah.
But because I'm gonna spoil them, I plan on spoiling them. But you've probably already got a pile of gifts.
I don't know what all
Mama's got. Your wife's got a pile of gifts for her, probably. But think about this.
Yeah.
I wonder what's more important: that Barbie doll car, or letting that grandbaby sit on Papa's lap and tell her the true story about Christmas.
She's gonna do it.
And
You are too.
So go ahead, brother. Tell us a little bit about your Christmas.
Well, I want to start with echoing on loved ones who aren't with us anymore. I want to start with that. Christmas has always been a hard time for me because my mom and dad both love Christmas so much. And I was talking to a guy at work today, and I told him, we were talking about memories and stuff, and my dad was like a child. He loved to. We collected things together, and I've still got some of the stuff that me and him both collected. I inherited his, and there's times, sometime between now and Christmas, I'll go out to the building and I'll sit and have my time,
Just reminisce.
But the thing that I told him, even though I had kids. The kids come along, and at Christmas it was just so hard. I focused on the loss of my mom and dad more than the joy of having my family. And I told him, I'll never forget. I was sitting in the den one night. It was Christmas Eve. I always try to sit up by myself and just kind of reminisce. You can call me what you want to, but.
You must call you old.
That's fine.
That's all.
I don't care. I'm blessed to get old. So, but anyway, I sat there one night, and as I watched the Christmas tree, lights on the Christmas tree, y'all gonna think I'm weird, but that's okay. It was like, you ever had them God moments when they just feels like He just sits down beside you? And it was like, sure as the world. And I know people look at me funny when I say this, but I told the guy today, I said, it was just like he spoke to me. Like I could hear the voice. You don't need to worry about your mom and dad. They're in good hands. Mm-hmm. What you need to be is thankful for your family. But more than that, be thankful for my word.
Yeah.
The promise of knowing that it's not goodbye. It's going to be see you later. Mm-hmm. But in those mean times, I need to appreciate what God's given me and focus on that in place of the loss, the space between me and my mom and dad. But, I've looked at it differently since then. And then 2 years ago, we just had my grandbaby's birthday party Sunday. And she's 2 years old. And 2 years ago, my Christmas has changed. And I want to say it because of a baby. Let me tell you something. In 1989, my life changed because a baby was born on Christmas Day. And I had the opportunity to receive that gift. And now I know a baby can change a lot of things.
Like that song, Mary, did you know?
Yeah.
I love that song.
But I will say that I can't, and I've said it and I'll say it again, I love my grandbaby. And I'm praying I'll have many more. But I'm going to tell you something. When you see what God has done through the eyes, see it through the eyes of a child, it changes you. It just completely changes you. And yes, I'm a big kid. I love Christmas. I do. And I think God has changed my focus so much over the past 2 years. I don't want anything for Christmas. I've got all I could ever ask for. All I could ever ask for. And I was reading a script today. As you get older, your wish list gets smaller because you've already gotten all you could ever ask for. I'm going to let y'all talk now. Sorry.
You'll go, Chris?
Go ahead.
When Christmas is my most favorite time of the year now. There was a time that I didn't want a Christmas tree put up in my house till probably about 2 days before Christmas, and then the day after Christmas it could come down.
Yeah.
But my how God has changed things in my life over the last few years. My tree has been up since October. I got one in my office at work up since October. Absolutely. And it will be up until we leave for our cruise in January. We'll probably take it down right before we go on our cruise in January. Christmas changed a lot for me when I lost my great grandma. Clay was 2 when she passed. So I got the whole family effect of Christmas with my first kid. Then when she went home to be with the Lord, it changed a lot. And then I'd say probably about 3 years ago, my heart got a little bit softer on Christmas, and I got back into it a lot more. And even though I had kids, I was always happy to have Christmas with the kids and see them open presents. But most importantly, I wanted my kids to not know that it don't matter about the presents that's under the tree.
That's right.
It mattered about that present that was born from that virgin woman 2,000 years ago that made it all worthwhile. I used to work with a lady, and I had never heard anybody done this before, but she said, my kids get 3 gifts for Christmas, and that's all they get, because your kids should get more gifts than what Jesus got. Jesus got gold, frankincense, and myrrh for Christmas. And that's what she said. So my kids get 3 gifts, and then there's somebody that goes to church here who kind of follows the same thing. Her kids get 3 gifts. It's one for them, one for all of them to share, and then one that they have to give away. It's just little concepts like that that you can tie it back because, I mean, you look now, like before, Christmas is just commercialized now. It's not about Jesus. It's not about giving. Yeah, there's good things that happen at Christmas. It's about shopping. It's about wrapping a present and making a video about it and putting it online so everybody can see that X, Y, and Z got more than A, B, and C did. And that's not what it's about.
I think I look at it different. I mean, when they put it online, it's just like, hey, look what I got. Come rob my house.
Yeah.
That's right. That's exactly right. Yeah.
I don't like stuff like that.
Well, now, my kids is, Clay's 14 and Drew will be 12 the day after Christmas. They don't get a whole lot for Christmas. Their Christmas gifts is expensive.
Yeah.
The older they get, the more it costs. But it's not about, to me, it's not about that.
Yeah. And that's all, that's all what me and Jennifer's try to do. We've got a limit. And, that's all, our kids can.
But now that's the limit that's going to go out the window when you had our first grandbaby.
Oh, well, they ain't going to be no limit with grandbabies. But they, that's our kids got a limit. And they just, that's all that's spent on them. And so one of them might want one thing, and that one gift might reach the limit, and that's all they get. And then the other one might want a bunch of little small things, and they might get 20 presents. Mm-hmm. And it might not be, but that's just the limit. I mean, because here you go. There's too many people out there today get so caught up in trying to buy gifts for the kids and this. Yeah. And I know people right now that in times past I've known they went into debt, and it took them all year to pay for the Christmas last year, and they barely get it paid for. And Christmas here again, you go right back into debt, paying for gifts. I remember when our kids was little, that they got so many gifts when they was little that we didn't open but half of them. Yeah, and we saved the other half. And when we let them open, July the 4th.
Yeah.
We let them open July the 4th. We just put them up in the attic. I mean, in the bonus room, because they had so many gifts. They didn't know they couldn't play with all this stuff.
Well, I told my wife, I said, here's what we're going to do. We're going to play a joke on both of my youngins this year. We're going to go in their room, and we're going to find 3 or 4 things in their room, and we're going to wrap them. And we're going to put them under a tree, and we're going to see if they even notice.
That's a fact.
Wrap some empty boxes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just see.
But, I've seen that. What you're talking about, though, is you there's so many presents and so many things that you get that you got nowhere to put it. When you get done unwrapping all that, it's just stuff. When you get done unwrapping all that stuff, okay, now it's time to clean up for Christmas. What am I going to do with all this junk?
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I love Christmas. If you ask my wife, she'll say otherwise. Bah humbug. I'm Scrooge. I'm the Grinch. I know it's okay. But I've always loved Christmas. But as I was coming up, it was always about presents. It was never. I wasn't raised. Hey, this is the birth of Jesus. I got a friend. I don't want to say they don't celebrate Christmas. They do celebrate Christmas. He's a good Christian man. They got 6 kids. But what they do is the kids will pick something out that they would like to have for Christmas, and they take it to the shelter and give it to somebody. So, hey, what is it you want for Christmas? They make themselves a list, and they pick out a couple things on their list, and they go buy it. But it ain't for them. It's to give to somebody else.
That's awesome.
I think one of the greatest things about Christmas is you can't wrap time up in a box.
Nah.
And I'm finding out more and more. It doesn't matter how much money you go and spend. What matters is the time you spend with them.
Yeah.
And I've gone and spent tons of money on my kids before, and they had more fun with the box than they did what I bought.
Yeah.
It's just, you get mine and Raul's age.
Wow.
You start appreciating the time that you have.
I start appreciating every hour now.
That's right.
Thankful for Red Bulls. I can make it through the day.
Yeah, we didn't open up with Red Bull.
We didn't open up with a Red Bull tonight, but we have it in the room. But Tony, have you set that grandbaby on your knee and taught her about Christmas?
I have not had a chance to yet, but I promise you it's coming. Y'all move on.
Move on.
He sprung a leak. I'm leaking.
Yeah.
What a time. What a time.
I'm telling you.
We just messing with. I'm messing with Tony. He done gave me a clue just a minute ago when he said, "Y'all, we talk about Christmas now. Y'all gonna mess up y'all gonna get into my December 22nd message." And he talking about John chapter 8, and I began to think that's when Jesus is in the temple teaching, and so that's a little.
Well, that's a good opportunity for a plug right there.
Yeah.
December 22nd. If you are around Monroe, or if you're not around Monroe and you want to take a trip, we're going to have a cowbell church service. We had one last month.
Right.
We had 3 preachers. They get 15 minutes to preach. I am actively going to buy a cowbell now. We're not going to have a YouTube cowbell. We're going to have the real deal in the house.
I want you to
for
cut
the
a
next
lap.
one.
I want you to cut a lap around the church ringing it when 15 minutes.
Done.
Cut a lap. Cut a lap. Man, we had some awesome singing, did we not, Brother Chris?
Man, it was a blast.
Just, we come in here, we have no schedule. We have the singers didn't even know what they was singing. We got songs from the floor, and everybody sung along. It was just porch type singing.
I tell you what was wild about that is there was some of the songs that were called out that I didn't have a clue what they were, but somebody did, and it just fired right up, went with it.
I love
great.
it. I love
awesome.
that.
It was awesome.
It's that true family time. I mean, you remember when you're sitting back in, have them Christmas times out with your family, and you sit around and you start singing, and everybody joins in and you sing, and I look forward. I can't sing a lick, but I do look forward to Sunday. I love going around when we going Christmas caroling. I can't wait to Sunday. We get to go around and go Christmas caroling.
I can't sing a lick neither. I like to go Christmas caroling, and my wife has signed me up.
But I love that. I mean, because you just you going out, you spreading the love of Christ through song and making somebody's day that can't get out.
Right.
And what a blessing that is.
right.
And so I'm looking.
Get here December 22nd is what we're getting at.
Yeah,
In the house.
Yeah, you will enjoy the cowbell service. It is something else. We have a good time and look forward to doing that. And we do that every month, and it's the fourth Sunday of every month. And so we're looking forward to that. And so getting back to our thought about Christmas, though, this year, got any different plans for Christmas? Tell me how. I mean, maybe how Christmas has changed from last year. Would you? Any of y'all, Christmas gonna be different this year. There's somebody out there today that when you walk down the same path, as somebody else, you might have done. One of us might have went down this path, and there's somebody that's going to listen to this that is going down this path now. Mm-hmm. What's some advice you could give them?
I tell you, the one that hits me is, there's a couple things. There's a lot of family that's not around anymore. So we used to get up Christmas morning, we'd do a little something in the house, we'd go to another house, and we'd go, there was 2 or 3 different places we had to go. So that don't happen anymore. And what's even worse is, I say worse, it's just the evolution of life and how you get older. But when you get up Christmas morning, you don't have anywhere to go, and your kids, and you have your morning time, and you're loving on each other, and you're giving your presents, and the next thing you know, they're like, I got to go to so-and-so's house. And you and Mama's sitting home alone on Christmas Day.
That's right.
And you're looking at each other like, what are we going to do now?
That was the hardest.
I had some ideas. You can lock the door. No, I'm just kidding. But
that was the hardest thing for me. After my daughter got married, first Christmas I got up, and there weren't nobody there but me and my wife.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah, then you got to give them time to come to your house.
yeah.
And so that's what, like
Maybe
this
they
year.
fit it in.
This year, it'll be the first year that we'll wake up and Mason ain't gonna be there.
That's right.
And then next year we'll wake up and Gracie and Mason won't be there.
Right.
So it's I've been picking with my wife about it. I said, you know what, it ain't gonna be long.
It's
You're
different.
gonna be able to holler, and it's gonna echo through the house.
Man, you can't do that to her. What's wrong with you?
And you know, but hey, but the thing about this, you
It's
realize
reality.
you give a little bit, you get a lot. I give a little bit, I'm gonna get a lot of grandyoungins.
That's right.
And so I'm looking forward to grandyoungins. I really am. I'm excited about that. And they asked me the other day what do you want them to call them? I said I don't care what he calls me, as long as they call me. As long as they call me, I don't care what they call me. I promise you. And so.
But if you think about it, and I know y'all probably gonna look at me stupid when I say this, Christmas is all about a child.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? The magical part of Christmas is all about a child. And it's sad that, we don't look at it that way.
Mhm.
We look at it like, well, I got to hurry up and go here. I got to hurry up and go there. I got to hurry up and go here. One thing I'm going to do different this year, I'm going to set aside a time, just me and the Lord. And I usually do that. Like I said, I usually do that on Christmas Eve night after everybody, my wife goes to bed and stuff. But, I think God's really showed me a lot this year. And I'm so scattered right now. I could just, Ron, I just got to say it. I watched a show here a while back called Why Not the Nativity. Dr. I can't think of his name.
Jeremiah?
David Jeremiah. And Roz, I sat there and I watched that. And I watched as the angel spoke to the shepherds in the sky field. And they sat there in awe. But when they heard, they dropped everything they had. And they took off. And they didn't even stop. I mean, once they seen what they had, what was there, they seen, you really realize they seen miracles. They seen everything laying in that manger. How in the world could we spend Christmas and not tell somebody else about the love of Christ? The greatest gift we could ever give somebody. And how can we sit there and not give him the time to just sit, I don't care if it ain't 15 minutes, and reminisce or think about all he's done for you. And, I mean, it's just, I think you said, how's it changed this year? I'm just going to tell you. My whole thought process has changed. I don't know how to explain it, Ralph. But I've got a lot to thank him for. And he didn't have to do what he did. But he did it because he loved me.
The greatest gift.
Goes back to taking things for granted, just like we opened up with. You get so busy and you don't stop. You don't think about it. You just kind of get through the day and you fall trapped to the commercialism of what Christmas is instead of really spending time meditating and thinking about what is. It ain't about the presents. It ain't about a tree. It ain't about Santa Claus.
Yeah.
It's about Jesus Christ.
I tell you another thought. Let me say this. I'm sorry cutting you off. I got to say it before I forget it.
Too late.
I got to thinking today when I was at work, all the things you get for Christmas. You get this one thing that you think so much of, and it may be just a keepsake, and you put it up on a shelf, and you sit and you look at it. You look at it. Well, after a couple of weeks goes by, you don't look at it no more. Then all of a sudden you say, man, I bet that thing's gathered some dust. I need to take that thing down and clean it up. I wonder if that ain't us. That needs to be taken down. Check our heart. maybe we need to shake the dust off of it
Yeah.
and realize the same God, the same Jesus that saved you, he's still in there.
Yeah.
He's still in there. Oh, my goodness, is there room in your end? Oh, my, I better shut up. Y'all go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think Christmas is going to be a different for a lot of people this year. I'm thankful that mine's not going to be extremely different. But then I think, we took a family trip this past weekend to the mountains up to Silva. So you have to go through western mountains, and there's a lot of people that ain't even got a house to sit around a table and have Christmas in this year.
That's right.
And I think about how different their Christmas is going to be, but how thankful a lot of them are that they just still have each other.
Yeah.
And there's a lot that don't have it, that don't have a loved one or even a family anymore. But it's going to be a lot different for people in our area than what it was last year. That's for sure. There's a lot of good work going on up there too, but my heart goes out, especially just riding up the road and all you got to do is just ride up the road and see it. Just the trees washed down the side of a mountain. Yeah, it's unreal, the devastation that took place up there. But it was cold up there this weekend. I think about those people that whole houses just ain't even no topsoil left. It's gone.
I want to say this. I believe we get back on what Christmas, what is going to be different this year. That gift that we get, it might be a piece of clothing material. It might be something that's going to wear out, going to break. You might keep it a year. You might throw it away. But there's one thing that you will never lose, and that is a memory. Yeah. And so I challenge you this year, whoever's listening, I challenge you this year to make a memory this year, because I reminisce back. Things changed. My Christmas really completely changed about 4 years ago, and I didn't realize that I was going to spend, I did at the time because my mom was getting very sick, and I knew that this was going to be her last Christmas with us, and she wanted to be at home at Christmas, and Christmas was a special time for her. She loved Christmas, and mainly because the family could get together. And, I remember after that, it was a tradition. We go to Mom and Daddy's for Christmas. We go to, that's where we went. And, we'd always, at a certain time, we'd always go to Christmas Eve. That's where we'd spend Christmas Eve and have our gathering and our family gathering. And, didn't know that would be the last Christmas I would spend there. Ever since Mama died, we don't do Christmas there no more. It's either, most time it's at my house now. And it just ain't the same. It ain't, so I encourage you to make them, memories. That's something that the enemy cannot steal from you. That's something that death cannot steal from you. Memories. And cherish every memory you have with that loved one this year. Cherish it. We don't know what tomorrow holds. Just like you said, Brother Tony, how the Lord spoke to you and told, we have not, as a child of God, we have lost nothing.
That's right.
If we'll grab a hold of the true gift of Christmas, and we won't lose loved ones. It might be a time that we have to say, I'll see you later, but I'm glad it's not a goodbye.
I tell you what, if you've got somebody in your life that's not saved or in church, you want to give them a gift, give them Jesus. Yeah, there's a lot of them out there that ain't heard or don't know, or just that's all they know about. Share the true story of Christmas. Give them that. I don't mean to cut you off, but I had a thought when I was a kid. We didn't have a lot of money. I didn't get a whole lot of, but when somebody gave me something, it meant something to them to give it to me. Ooh, that'll preach. Hold on.
Yeah.
It took all they had
Yeah.
to give me something.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Go on. Come on.
Give them Jesus.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave it with that. Just give them Jesus.
It took everything he had. Oh, me. You know, there's a lot of people, just like you said, give them Jesus. There's a lot of people out there today that needs, if there's one thing we can give them our love.
Yeah.
We can share them our love. You know, my heart breaks for a family right here in our community. A dear friend of mine that I think a lot of. You know, we probably ain't as close as as close as I probably want to be, but I consider him a friend. I consider him a good saint of God. But my heart breaks for him. You know, he lost his mother last week, and then this week his father died with a broken heart, and my heart breaks for him this year. You know, losing both of your parents right before Christmas, and you know, there's some people who need to be loved on this year.
Yeah.
Those people need to be loved on, and I encourage you. Find them ones that love on them this year. Love on them. Give them, you know, just like Brother Chris says, you know, I can't, you know, my wife, Christmas is, if there's one holiday or one time she's going to celebrate, it is Christmas. She, just like Philip, she starts decorating. It takes her 3 days to put stuff up. I mean, we've got literally, I'm not exaggerating when I think we got 8 or 10 Christmas trees in the house. They everywhere. Everywhere.
That's good. That's good.
It takes 30 minutes just to turn Christmas trees off to go to bed. I mean, it's crazy in Christmas
You
lights.
can run them together on one switch.
Well, these is all, don't do that. That's funny because you did that. And one night my kids joked me and they come in there and said, Daddy, Mama got a Christmas tree. All you had to do is talk to it and it cut off. and so I played, I said, man, y'all crazy. No. I said, man, ain't that stupid. He said, well, just try. I said, cut off. And I didn't know he had a remote in his hand. He was on the couch. I said, well, cut off then. And thing cut off. He said, I told you. And he had me going for a minute. I fell for that one. But anyway, she puts off, she loves this. But I'm telling you, she'll spend everything she's got to not leave nobody out. And I was thinking, man, you know, but you know, that is a time that she loves to give. She don't ever ask for nothing. She loves to give. She don't want to ask for nothing, but she loves to give. And so, you know, we ought to strive this year to, just like Brother Chris said, give them Jesus. Yeah. Give somebody Jesus. Share the love of Christ. Let Christ glow in you. Let Christ glow in you this year at Christmas. I mean, cherish every memory, every moment you get, cherish it. You know, I love Christmas. I love time, you know, getting together with family I ain't seen, and I like the eating part. It's pretty good too. I like the eating part, but cherish it. Take your time and set your family down and share with them. Just go over as a reminder of really what Christmas is all about. And it's not about the gifts; it's about the gift.
That's right. That's right.
So, anything else you want to say, Brother Tony, Chris, Philip? Anything y'all want to close out with? And well, you know, we want to wish each and every one of you a Merry Christmas. It's not an ex Christmas; it is a Merry Christmas. And I challenge you also. I'll put the challenge out to you. You're going to be out and about in the next few weeks, and you're going to run across a lot of people, and you're going to be in a lot of stores, and this world is doing everything they can to kick Christ out of everything. And when somebody looks at you and you tell them Happy Holidays, you look them back in the eyes and you tell them Merry Christmas. Yeah. And Be nice about it, but remind them really what the holiday is. It is about
That's
Christmas.
right. That's right.
It ain't happy holidays. It's Merry Christmas. And so we want to wish everybody out there that's listening to us a Merry Christmas. And if we don't do another one of these before Christmas, again, we want to wish you a Merry Christmas, but we plan on hitting the ground hard. I think we're going to have some good stuff coming in the first year, some good podcast, and maybe get a little deeper, get our wives back in here a few nights and do some more joint podcasts like that. And so we look forward to being back in here and kicking the year off fresh. We got a good vision here at the church, and we look forward to what God's going to do in our vision this year at the church. And God's got a lot of great things going on. And but it's not about us.
That's right.
It's about the gift. It's about Jesus. It is about Jesus. It's all about Him. It's always going to be about Him. So anything else before we close?
I think we about covered it.
Yep.
Well, again, we wish you a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
And I hope you have a wonderful Christmas. Cherish every memory. Share somebody. Share the love of Christ with somebody. Tell them about the truth.
Amen.
Yeah.
And I hope you have a wonderful Christmas and a wonderful day in the Lord. And hey, you don't have to wait to Christmas to tell them about the gift. You can tell them about it today.
That's right.
Again, we love you. We're praying for you. And so I hope you have a wonderful day in the Lord, and God bless you.